Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining a Lock podcast. Tonight, we stay within stone walls. No long roads, no crowded markets, no busy workshops, just a castle at night. You are a guard, not a hero, not a warrior in battle, just someone who stays awake while everyone else sleeps. The year is somewhere in the 13th century, and this is your shift. The air is cooler than you expected. It always is at night. The warmth of the day has already faded from the stone, leaving behind a slow, steady chill that settles into everything. The walls, the ground, even the metal resting lightly against your body. You stand still for a moment, not because you need to, but because the night feels different when you first step into it. Quieter, heavier. The kind of quiet that is not empty, but full of small sounds waiting to be noticed. A torch burns beside you. The flame moves constantly, never fully still, bending slightly with the movement of air you cannot quite feel. Its light stretches across the stone, uneven, shifting, creating shapes that change each time the flame leans. You adjust your grip on the spear. Not tightly, just enough to feel it there. Solid. Familiar. There is weight to it, but not enough to slow you. You have carried it long enough that your body understands it without effort. The shift has already begun. There is no announcement, no signal. Only the quiet understanding that for the next few hours, you are the one who remains awake. You begin to walk, slowly, not out of caution, but because there is no reason to move quickly. Your boots meet the stone with a steady rhythm, each step soft but clear enough for you to hear. The sound does not travel far. The walls keep it close, returning it to you in faint echoes that follow half a step behind. Step, pause, step. You do not rush the pauses. They are part of the movement, part of the job. You listen as you walk, not actively searching, just allowing the sounds to reach you. A faint movement of fabric as you shift, the low crackle of the torch behind you. Somewhere far above, a loose wood taps once, then goes still again. The castle is not silent. It never is. It breathes in its own way. You turn a corner. The light changes slightly, the shadows stretching differently along the wall. The path ahead darker where no torch has been placed nearby. You slow, just a little. Your eyes adjust. Shapes become clearer. Edges return. Nothing moves. Nothing needs to. You continue. The night stretches ahead of you, long and unbroken, not marked by events, not divided into moments that matter. Only time, and the quiet responsibility of staying present within it. You take another step, and another, and slowly, the rhythm of the night begins to settle into you. The rhythm continues. Step. Pause. Step. It becomes easier now. Not because the path changes, but because your longer questions it. The movement settles into something steady, something that does not require thought. You pass beneath a stone archway. The air shifts slightly as you do, cooler for a moment, as if the passage holds on to the night more tightly than the open courtyard. Your footsteps sound different here, more contained, the echoes shorter, closer, returning to you almost immediately. The torchlight fades. Ahead, the path darkens. Not completely, just enough that the edges of things soften, shapes blending slightly into one another until your eyes take a moment to separate them again. You do not stop. You let your vision adjust as you move. It always does. The corridor stretches longer than it first appeared. The walls are rough, uneven in places, marked by years that have worn them down in ways too subtle to notice during the day. But at night, under this kind of light, every surface feels more present, more real. Your hand brushes lightly against the stone as you pass. It is cool, slightly damp, grounding. You reach the end of the passage and step out again. The space opens. The air moves more freely here. You are on the outer wall now. The height is not something you think about often, but it is there. The drop beyond the stone is lost in darkness. Only faint outlines visible where the land meets what little light remains. The world outside the castle feels distant, almost separate, like something that exists beyond your responsibility. Up here, the wind is more noticeable, not strong, just present. It moves across your face, through your cloak, carrying with it the faint smell of earth and something colder from further away. You pause, not for long, just enough to look outward. There is nothing to see, and that is exactly what you expect. You turn, continuing along the wall. The torches here are spaced further apart. Between them, the darkness deepens, stretching the distance between light into something longer, something quieter. Each step takes you from one small circle of warmth into another, passing through shadow in between. It is steady, unforced, matching the pace of your steps without needing to be guided. In and out. The castle behind you feels asleep. Not silent, but resting. The kind of stillness that comes when everything happened has already happened, and nothing more is expected until morning. You reach a narrow staircase. It leads downward, spiral, worn. The center of each step is smoother than the edges, shaped by countless feet over time, each one passing through without leaving a trace that can be named. You begin to descend, slowly. The sound of your steps changes again, closer, more contained. The walls curve around you, holding the sound in, letting it move with you as you go down. Your hand rests lightly against the inner wall, rough, solid. Each step is deliberate, not cautious, just measured. There is no need to rush downward. The night is not going anywhere. At the bottom, the space opens once more. Another corridor, another stretch of stone and shadow. Familiar, repetitive, exactly as it should be. You step forward, the rhythm returns. Step, pause, step. And with each movement, the castle feels a little more known, a little more quiet, a little more settled. The corridor stretches ahead of you, familiar, unchanging, and yet something about it feels slightly different now. There Foles is why no Bernal ano, and night is not going anywhere. At the bottom, the space opens once more. Another corridor, another stretch of stone and shadow, familiar, recursive Tayan, exactly as it should be. You step forward, the rhythm returns, step, pause, step, and with each movement, The castle feels a little more known, a little more quiet, a little more settled. The corridor stretches ahead of you, familiar, unchanging, and yet something about it feels slightly different now. Banna live, you will behind. Careful soul verilled you, holding the sound in, letting it move with you as you go down, then rests lightly against the inner wall. Rough, solid. Each step is deliberate, not cautious, just measured. There is no need to rush downward. The night is not going anywhere. At the bottom, the space opens once more. Another corridor, another stretch of stone in shadow, familiar, unchanging, and yet something about it feels slightly now, not in a way you can point to, just a small shift in how the space holds itself. You continue walking, step, pause, step. Your breathing remains steady, matching the rhythm without effort, rising and falling in quiet balance with your movement. In and out. The torchlight along the wall flickers. It always does. But for a moment, the movement feels more noticeable, the shadows it casts stretching just a little further than before, bending in ways that seem slower, heavier. You pass one torch, then another, each one marking a small point of warmth in an otherwise cool, still environment. Between them, the darkness lingers, not complete, but enough to soften edges, enough to let your eyes work a little harder. You slow slightly, not out of concern, just listening. There, a sound, faint, almost too quiet to be certain. You stop, completely. The silence settles around you, not empty, just waiting. You tilt your head just slightly, trying to place it. Another sound, a soft shift, like something brushing lightly against stone, or fabric moving where no movement should be. It does not repeat immediately. It never does. You remain still for a moment longer. Your grip on the spear does not tighten. Your breathing does not change. This is not unfamiliar. The castle makes sounds. It always has. Wood settles. Stone shifts. Air moves through spaces too narrow to see. Not everything has a cause you can follow, and not everything needs one. You take a step forward, slowly. The sound does not return. Another step. Nothing. The corridor remains as it was, still, unmoving. And yet, as you pass the place where you thought you heard it, your attention lingers there for just a moment longer than necessary. You do not look directly, just enough to acknowledge it. Then you continue. Step. Pause. Step. The rhythm resumes. But now, you notice more. The way your cloak shifts slightly with each movement. The faint sound of metal brushing against itself as you adjust your grip. The soft movement of air as it travels through unseen paths in the walls. All of it becomes clearer. Not louder. Just more present. You reach another turn. The corner ahead is darker than the rest. No torch. No direct light. Only the faint glow from behind you stretching forward, bending as it reaches into the space. You slow again. Your steps softer now. Not cautious. Just aware the tan lingers there for just a moment longer than necessary. You do not look directly, just enough to acknowledge it. Then you can step, pause, step. The rhythm resumes. But now you notice more. The way your cloak shifts slightly with each movement. The faint sound of metal brushing against itself as you adjust your grip. The soft movement of air as it travels through unseen paths in the walls. All of it becomes clearer, not louder, just more present. You reach another turn. The corner ahead is darker than the rest. No torch, no direct light. Only the faint glow from behind you stretching forward that reaches into the space. You slow again. Your steps softer now, not cautious, just aware. You step into it. The darkness surrounds you briefly. Then your eyes adjust. Shapes return. Stone, wall, floor. Nothing was changed. Nothing was there. You continue walking. The sound does not return. The corridor does not end. The castle settles back into its steady, quiet presence, as if nothing had happened at all. And maybe nothing did. Some sounds are like that. They arrive, they pass, and they leave no trace behind. You take another step, then another, and slowly the night becomes quiet again. The corridor does not shift again. The castle settles back into its steady, quiet presence, as if nothing had happened at all. And maybe nothing did. Some sounds are like that. They arrive, they pass, and they leave no trace behind. You take another step, then another, and slowly the night becomes quiet again. The corridor does not shift again. The castle settles back into its steady, quiet presence, as if nothing had happened at all. And maybe nothing did. Some sounds that they arrive, they pass, and they leave no trace behind. You take another step, then another, and slowly the night becomes quiet again. The corridor does not shift again. The castle settles back into its steady, quiet presence, as if nothing had happened at all. And maybe nothing did. Some sounds are like that. They arrive, they pass, and they leave no trace behind. You take another step, then another, and slowly the night becomes quiet again. The corridor does not shift again. The castle settles back into its steady, quiet presence, as if nothing had happened at all. And maybe nothing did. Some sounds are like that. They arrive, they pass, and they leave no trace behind. You take another step, then another, and slowly the night becomes quiet again. The corridor settles again. Whatever you thought you heard does not return. And without it, the space feels different. Not emptier, just clearer. You continue, step, pause, step. The rhythm comes back easily, as if it had only been waiting for you to return to it. Your breathing follows without effort, slow and steady, matching the pace that has carried you through most of the night. In and out. The torchlight behind you fades as you move forward. Another passage opens, then another. The paths connect and you no longer need to think about. Your body remembers them, turning when it should, slowing where it needs to, moving forward without hesitation. You reach a doorway that leads upward again. Not narrow this time, wider, more open. The steps are easier to take, less worn, less confined. You begin to climb, slowly, not because it is difficult, but because there is no reason to rush upward. The night is still long. Each step lifts you gradually, bringing you back toward open air, toward a space where the castle breathes more freely. At the top, out onto a higher section of the wall. The air meets you again, cool, gentle, consistent. You stop. This time, you let yourself stay. Not out of duty, not because something requires your attention, but because there is nothing demanding it. The view stretches outward, though there is little to see. The land beyond the castle is mostly shadow now, faint shapes barely visible beneath a sky that has grown deeper, darker, quieter. The clouds have thinned. Somewhere above, the moon presses through, not fully bright, but enough to soften the darkness, taped to what would otherwise disappear completely. You rest your weight slightly, not leaning, just ease most. Shadow now, faint shapes barely visible beneath a sky that has grown deeper, darker, quieter. The clouds have thinned. Somewhere above, the moon presses through, not fully bright, but enough to soften the darkness, shaped to what would otherwise disappear completely. You rest your weight slightly, not leaning, just easing. Your hands loosen around the spear, not letting go cancel. 16 mirror constants, currents to the lung, prime to the ear. Stranger, Granger, Mom. Then only minding it. The view stretches outward, though there is little to see. The land beyond the castle is mostly shadow now, faint shapes barely visible beneath a sky that has grown deeper, darker, quieter. The clouds have thinned. Somewhere above, the moon presses through, not fully bright, but enough to soften the darkness, to give shape to what would otherwise disappear completely. You rest your weight slightly, not leaning, just easing. Your hands loosen around the spear, not letting go, just holding it differently, more lightly. The wind moves past you again. It carries no urgency, no message, just movement. You listen, not for anything specific, just to what is there, and what is there is very little. The faint movement of fabric, the distant shift of something unseen far beyond the walls, your own breathing, that is enough. You remain for a while. You do not count the time. You do not need. The night moves whether you measure it or not. Eventually, you step back. Not because you must, but because your body begins to settle into something heavier, something slower, something that no longer needs to stand in open air. You return to the stair, down again, step by step. The movement is quieter now. Not because the space has changed, but because you have. At the bottom, you find a smaller room. Not empty, just unused. A place where nothing is happening. A bench rests against the wall. Simple, warm, enough. You step inside. The air is still here. More contained than the corridors. More settled than the open wall above. The light is low, steady, no longer flickering as much, casting soft shadows that do not shift too quickly. You sit, slowly. The weight leaves your legs first, then shoulders, then the rest follows. You do not close your eyes, not yet, but you feel it, the quiet, the stillness. The way the night is no longer something you are moving through, but something you are resting inside. You remain seated. The room does not change. The light stays low, steady, resting against the walls without shifting too much. The air holds still, without the movement of wind, without the distant openness of the outer wall. Everything here feels contained, held in. Your hands rest where they fall, not gripping, not holding, just there. The spear leans slightly against the wall beside you, within reach, but no longer something your body needs to carry. For the first time tonight, there is nothing in your hands that requires attention. Your shoulders drop a little more. You notice it now. The difference. The way the weight has been there all along. You breathe in. Deep. Without trying. And out. Longer than before. The rhythm changes. Slower now. More even. In. And out. Your legs feel heavier, not uncomfortable, just present. As if the effort of holding yourself ready, balanced, prepared, has finally stepped aside, leaving only the weight that was always there. Your boots remain on. You do not remove them. There is no need. This is not sleep. Not yet. Just rest. The sounds of the castle reach you faintly, much softer than before. No longer something you follow, just something that exists somewhere beyond the room. A distant shift, a piece of wood settling, the quiet presence of a place that continues, even when you are not moving through it. Your head tilts slightly. Not intentionally, just finding a more comfortable position. Your eyes remain open, but your focus softens. The edges of things lose their sharpness, blending gently into one another, no longer asking to be defined clearly. There is nothing you need to watch. Nothing you need to listen for. Nothing expected. The shift continues, with or without effort, with or without attention. And for a while, you sit, breathing, resting, letting the stillness settle deeper, in and out. Your thoughts begin to slow, not stopping, just stretching further apart, like the space between your steps earlier. Longer now, quieter, less urgent. You feel it clearly. The moment when staying awake no longer feels necessary. When the body begins to lean towards something softer, something quieter, something that does not require you to hold anything at all, you do not resist it. You do not follow it. You simply allow it to be there. And gradually, without effort, the night becomes heavier around you and softer within you. You remain where you are. The room holds you in place. Nothing shifts. Nothing asks anything from you. The light stays low, resting quietly against the stone, no longer flickering in a way that draws your attention. The air remains still, settled, as if even the castle itself has decided there is no need to move anymore. Your breathing slows again, in and out. You do not guide it. It finds its own rhythm, deeper, quieter, more distant from the world around you. Your body has already begun to settle. Your shoulders no longer carry weight. Your hands remain still. Your legs, heavy and unmoving, no longer hold you upright with effort, but simply rest as they are. For lying down, feel the surface beneath you supporting your body, the weight of you, gently held, without effort. If you are sitting, notice the weight of your legs, the calm in your shoulders, the quiet that is slowly built within you. Let it stay. There is nothing you need to nothing you need to improve. Just allow it. I know now. Chant, Bruriet, Can, Take Thing, Cantons, Tariants, Commandant Shoulders. The quiet that is slowly built within. Let it stay. There is nothing you need to change, nothing you need to improve. Just allow it. The night continues, but it no longer reaches you in the same way. The distant sounds fade further. The small movements of the castle become softer, less defined, blending into something that no longer asks for your attention. Your thoughts begin to drift, not disappearing, just loosening. Edges softening, moments stretching further apart, like footsteps slowing until they are no longer heard. In and out. Your head lowers slightly. Your eyes no longer stay open. There is nothing left to watch, nothing left to guard. For now, it is enough to rest. Think about the quiet of the night, the steady rhythm you followed, the stillness that now surrounds you. Let it carry you getting here, sharing this quiet space. Let your night be peaceful, light, and your body rest well. And when you wake tomorrow, carry with you the calm of this moment, the quiet awareness, the steady rhythm, a simple stillness that asks nothing from you. There is nothing more you need to do, nothing more you need to hold on to. Just rest, just drift, just sleep. Thank you for taking this slow journey with me tonight. I appreciate you being here, sharing this quiet space, allowing yourself to slow down, even just for a little while. If this helped you relax, you can always return for another story, another night, another place to rest your mind. For now, sleep well, and I'll see you in the next one.